Hello, welcome to One on One. I'm your host, Greg Walker. I think we have a very interesting guest with us today. She's certainly a very nice lady. Cindy Bell Buis joins us on this edition of One on One. Now, Cindy is the Director of Christian Education, also Youth Director at Sango United Methodist Church. She works with Willie Lyle out there, and he's a wonderful gentleman that we'll talk a little bit about today. She's also an animal lover. She has been in the music business over 30 years, but she's directed herself, and the Lord has, back to the church. On this show, we're going to get to know about her much better, get her thoughts, opinions, and comments on a wide array of subject matter. Settle back, relax, and enjoy a fun, down-to-earth conversation with our guest, Cindy Bell Buis. Cindy will join us right after these words.
Thank you. It's the great savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Rogue. $5,200 off a new Maxima. New Versa $9,999. Save big on $400 new. You're gonna love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville, in all media, 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
For 100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has honored legacies. We believe every family deserves a special time of celebrating a life well lived.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Welcome to our show today. Our guest is in the house, Cindy Bell Buis. I love the way that name is, Buis. It's B-U-I-S, but you have to switch the vowels and pronounce it Buis. And she is the Director of Christian Education, also Youth Director at Sango United Methodist Church. Cindy,
nice
pleasure.
To be here. Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, I've enjoyed getting to know you this morning. Well, one thing for sure, you work with a great man. Willie is a wonderful guy out there at Sango, isn't he?
He absolutely is. He is so eager to serve the Lord, and he is always eager for a hug and a kind word, and such an inspirational speaker. He draws people in, and they stay, I think, because he is so warm.
Now, this is what I've heard, and you let me know just how much. I've heard, since Willie has been the minister there, that church has busted wide open. It's really grown.
I think so. I've heard that it is the same thing. I've heard that it is one of the fastest growing churches in the area, and Willie will not take any credit for that. When you talk to him about what's happening there and God's working, that is what he'll say. God's working in this church, and he's just an instrument that God's using and leading him to go through the changes that we're going through. And he is just a wonderful man, and yeah, the church is growing, and it's wonderful to see it.
You know, Willie, if you didn't know, you may have kept up with him several years ago. He went for a week as a homeless person here in town just to see how the homeless lived. That sort of helped direct you to Sango, didn't it?
Yeah, I think that God has talked to me a few different times through unexpected messengers, and I was working a program with a few of my friends where we were doing what we called homeless runs, and we were taking the van with crock pots full of food, coats, blankets. It was the middle of winter in Nashville. It was so cold, and we were just basically driving around and speaking with and spreading the gospel with the homeless, and also helping them with needs as far as food and waters and warmth. And during that time, my husband said, "Hey, you might want to look at this article in the paper." And I think it was front page.
It was.
It was a big one.
Hey, it was great.
And he read it to me while I was having my breakfast, and I said, I really loved what he did that morning, the first Sunday that he preached at Sango, his introduction Sunday. And it was just, I knew at that point that this was a minister that I could relate to because of the fact that we were doing something so similar with our mission to help the homeless. And the way that he did it just really caught my attention. And if I hadn't been so tapped into the church that I was working with and helping at the time.
Well, yeah, that was Hilldale United Methodist.
My sister is the Christian education director there.
Yeah.
And youth leader there. So I was helping her with different programs. And if I hadn't been
and a good
so
friend
involved,
of mine, Skip Armstead.
Skip Armstead, who's wonderful.
Yeah.
I would have probably went and started going to Sango then because that really caught me and it related to me. And Willie does so many things like that. I mean, he urges the people, and now the people urge each other to use their passions, anything that they're passionate about, and try to somehow create something with that passion to where it can reach out to others that don't know Jesus and come to our church. We're a Come As You Are church. And we are not out to take members from other churches. We're out to try to reach those that don't know Jesus and don't have a home church. And I really love the fact that we are encouraged to use our passions, whether it be music, animals. We've
That's
got
right. She's an animal lover. So am I. Yeah.
We have 2 Latin teachers in our congregation that are going to have a Latin camp this summer. Mm-hmm. We have a well-known artist that's going to have an art academy camp. We have a lady that's passionate about volleyball, and you've probably heard of this, but volleyball's been big at Sango. And so 2 nights a week, Wednesday and Sunday, anyone is welcome to come and play volleyball in the evenings with us. And we have so much fun. And nobody's very good. And I think that's what makes it so fun. That's just an example of how they really told me when I first came on board to think outside the box. And then I've witnessed all these there's 53 ministries at Sango. And that's quite a few different ministries. They're different sizes. Some are large, some are small, medium. But there are 53 ministries at that church, and that speaks very well for the church because that shows that the people, the body of Christ inside the church, are all busy doing something with something they're passionate about and reaching people and telling them about Jesus that way. So, very busy church.
Now, Cindy, she grew up in the church, not the Methodist, basically. Her father was a minister with First Christian Church, right?
My whole life. Mm-hmm.
Your whole life. You moved around a lot with him.
Yes.
Moved around a lot.
PK.
Huh?
PK. Preacher's kid.
Preacher's kid.
Mm-hmm.
PK. I got you. But you always, even as a youth, though, had a love for music, too, didn't you?
Always had a passion for it. My father played the guitar and sang. My mother was a music choir teacher in high school. I grew up with a very musical family. We had a family band for a while, the Bells. And, of course, it was a gospel group, and I was the drummer. My sister played bass. My brother played some banjo or something. My dad played guitar. Mom played piano. We all sang. It was beautiful harmony, family, genetic harmony. And we had a great time doing shows for different churches and then in our own home church. But, yeah, passion was always there for music from a very young age.
So your parents, are they still living?
My father passed away several years ago. He was a minister in Dover, Tennessee at the small Christian church there. That was his retirement church. He had a big church for many years up in Illinois and several churches before that. But he passed away, and my mother still is living. She'll be 80 May 1st. And she lives at Uffelman Estates and plays the piano and does a gospel sing there a few times a week. She still plays like she's 25 years old. She is awesome.
And how about siblings?
I have an older brother, older sister, and then Jody, my younger sister, that's the director of Christian education at Hilldale Methodist.
Now, do all of them live around here?
We do now. You know, we all spread out like we do when we get out of the house. We leave for 20-some years, and then you tend to come back to your roots. So, yeah, we do. My brother lives in Franklin. One sister lives in Nashville, and then Jody and I live here in Clarksville.
Here in Clarksville. Now, when you graduated high school from where?
Clay City, Indiana, about a hour south of Terre Haute, Indiana. No stoplight, no stop sign on Main Street. I can't even tell you, it's so small.
Small town gal.
We had probably under 50 people in my graduating class.
Now, you went to college after high school at Purdue, didn't you?
For a short time.
What happened to make that college career in? Let's get into your
To be
music.
honest.
Yeah, to be honest.
Okay, I came from a school that had less than 50 kids in my graduating class, I'm pretty sure. Don't quote me on that, but it was very small. And my first day at Purdue University, I walked into an auditorium with over 350 students sitting there in this auditorium. I could barely see the professor. I could barely see what he was writing on a projector. And they were, I mean, our first day assignment was...
It's humbling, isn't it?
To read 5 chapters and know it by tomorrow. And I had no idea what I was doing. I was not educated at that level to be at that school. But I did my best. I hung in there. But I was in a talent show that year, and an agent that saw me sing there contacted some people around the area. Long story short, within 6 months, they contacted me, and then I wound up getting my first job on the road singing, fronting a band.
We'll talk about our music, we'll talk about the church, and much more. Our guest, Cindy Bell Buis, will be back, segment 2, right after this.
The Leaf Chronicle is now available on every device you carry or don't carry. All things Clarksville in all media 24/7. Subscribe now for full access.
Welcome back. Our guest is Cindy Bell Buis. Now, Cindy is the Director of Christian Education, also Youth, for Sango United Methodist Church. Now, what we need to do, we're going to talk about your music. You going from Purdue and getting in the music business. But I want everybody to know, I don't want to forget, where is Sango United Methodist Church located?
Okay, Sango United Methodist Church is located at 3301
Sango Road.
3301 Sango Road, and it's right off of the connector. You turn between the McDonald's and the Exxon station there.
That's Sango Road.
Take that around all those little curves and through the stop sign, and you will cannot miss Sango Road because it's right on.
Don't say that. When you're giving directions, never say you can't miss it, because you can.
Because you can.
Yeah.
It's right there on the corner as Sango Road turns to the left.
Yeah,
it's
it
right
bends
there.
around.
Yeah.
But if you stay on Sango and go through the stop sign and go on around, it's there on the left. Mm-hmm. It's before you get to Sango Cemetery on the left.
Yes. And we'd love to have you come and visit. We'd love for you to come and check us out.
And what are the times on? So y'all have 1 or 2 services?
We have 2 services now. We have a traditional service in the morning that starts at 8:30, and of course, in all these there's nursery provided, and then there's Sunday school at 9:30. We have a lot of different classes for adults and children of all ages. And then we have the contemporary service begins at 10:45 in the Christian Life Center out back. That service has grown so much that now it needs to be in the Life Center because it's too many people for the sanctuary.
So in other words, contemporary gospel, people are going a lot to that, aren't they?
Contemporary is a really popular alternative of worship for people. The music is more modern. You'll hear our praise bands play songs that you may hear on the radio today. We do have a wonderful praise band, and we also have a youth praise band that does one Sunday. They do all the music as well. The youth is very involved in this church as far as being a face that you see regularly doing anything from service to being on the stage to helping with even passing for the offering plates. The youth groups are extremely involved with what the church is doing.
And that's your group.
And that's That's my group that God gave me through Willie and this wonderful church. So yeah, this is I'm learning from them.
Yeah, she gave Alexis a card, Mahelanik, that was here this morning. I mean, you know, you want the youth to know that y'all are there if they would like to be a part of it.
We have a wonderful youth program. We have a junior, senior youth program. They're getting ready to do a mission trip. We're going to go and build houses and wheelchair ramps, do yard work, whatever we need to do and whatever we're asked to do. We're going to be doing that in June. But our youth group is going to be doing a youth Sunday where they do everything in the service. I mean, if you have children and you would like to see what's going on, Youth Sunday would be a great day. May 22nd, we're also going to be acknowledging our graduates that day. But the entire service from start to finish will be the youth. There'll be skits, there'll be sermons, and some other surprise elements that the youth, very wonderful kids. I mean, these are some great kids. And
now, when you say youth, what ages are we talking about?
Okay, the youth that I'm talking about is from 6th grade to 12th. The junior and senior high is 6th grade to 12th, and it's a wonderful group of kids. They are so willing and accepting of anyone new that comes in, and they make you feel at home right away to other kids. And then we also have a program for 3rd through 5th grade on Wednesdays and Sundays as well. And in the near future, I hope to open up some programs for the younger ones.
Now, we were talking about when she left Purdue University, you got in the music business. You've been from a music background, family, your whole family. Genetic harmony, that's what Steve came over here and want to talk to you about. You all had that sound. But you left college, you go to Denver, Colorado, and you're thinking, what? I'm going to hit the big time.
Yes.
How'd that work?
Okay, so I went to Denver. My husband was transferred with IBM to Boulder. And little did I know.
So you were married?
Yeah, married to my high school sweetheart. And we moved to Boulder with IBM. And little did I know, the Denver live music scene was at its peak. It was booming. There were big, ginormous clubs. Anywhere from, several hundred to up to 3,000 people fit inside these clubs. And so my goal began to put a band together that was going to catch the eye of the biggest management company in Denver and have us be one of his 3 bands and keep us working and touring. And I was blessed. That happened. And we had 3 girls and 2 guys, and we traveled all over the United States and into Canada several times.
What were y'all called?
Kid Fox.
Kid Fox.
Kid Fox. And we traveled all over, and I loved the people in that band because even though we did top 40 cover, we did some original songs, we did not get caught up in the party scene. We led the parties in the clubs, but we did not get caught up into the typical rock star lifestyle.
Hey, let me tell you, and it's there. You've probably seen it all.
I've seen some of my closest, dearest friends and relatives fall victim to the industry.
Well, see, and that's one thing, though. See, that's good about you being the director now. I like someone that's got a balance. Hey, you've seen the dark side, so to speak. So you're not a rookie or some greenhorn telling them about it. You've actually experienced it.
I have. I've after Kid Fox, I went on to a producer that was coming through Denver at the time, came into a club. My manager had him come in, and we sat and talked. And he was producing an album by a lady of the name of Sheila E., which is ironic. Prince just passed away, but she was his percussionist and very close with him for many years. And Dwayne was producing her at the time, and so he was the one that urged me and got my music listened to in Nashville by some pretty big ears that could say, okay, move here and we will help you. But yes, I've seen the dark side. Obviously, there is a light side, but you're in control, and I really believe that anyone that wants to be in music, they just have to keep God with them, and they have to keep him as a focus and talk to him daily, because it's so easy to go to that dark side very quickly.
Well, sure. And just about any line of work, but especially that industry especially. It seems to.
And it is great to be working with the kids, because I do find that there's times in my past I can remember at that age.
Well, if you're mentoring a youth or whatever, I mean, your life experiences, You know, it's sort of like I tell my son, it's no need for you to have to try or experience that. I've done it, and it won't work.
Right.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Right, and then we just have to figure out a way to try to say it in a way that they'll listen.
But even with your music and your covers and all of this, and you're a writer, you've written a lot of music, you still went to the gospel side.
Always. Always. I mean, I started my day, I can remember in my early 40s, late 30s, even though I was in the music and I was writing country music, rock music, pop, commercial music, my favorite was always writing with Christian writers and Christian songs. And I mean, I started my day still doing a Bible study, listening and watching Joyce Meyer's show in the mornings, and always trying to keep God first.
But you also like to write gospel music.
I love to write Christian music.
Do you still write?
I have not picked up the pen to write in over 3 years.
Really?
It hasn't been with me. My passion and where God's been leading me has been in a different direction.
But you, for 30 years, were in the music industry and made a good living doing it.
It was well, I will tell you the truth. The internet killed us. It started in the 90s. And in the 90s, and then with, piracy, stealing songs, recording wherever you want, still to this day, we don't have a science to how we can track the money for the writers and the publishing companies. When I came to Nashville, Sony Tree had over 150 writers. The last I checked many years ago, they were down to a bare bone minimum.
Really?
The writers cannot make the money that they used to make because they don't know how to track. Well, they're working on it. It's getting better. They're coding the music now. They have a better idea of what to do. But I mean, that's why the record labels and the publishing companies failed so badly, because they didn't have a plan for what happened with the internet. And so honestly, for a while, there's not much money to be made.
So there's a lot of different aspects to the music. Some can get wealthy, and some can do great work, but still be very poor.
Yes, and it became obvious in the early 2000s that if you really want to be secure with making money, you need to either be the artist on the record label and all the songs are yours, or you need to write with the artists that are on the labels. And that's a very hard thing to get in that door, to be able to have writing sessions with the artists and have your name well known enough to where your song gets put on the top of the CD stack when they're going to do pitching to that artist or that manager. A lot of people come to Nashville thinking that there's this pot of gold, and they find out that it's a very small group of people that continue to make it happen.
Yeah. That's well said. But through it all, you were led right back to the church.
Yep, sure was. And I wouldn't have it any other way. I tell you what, if I knew how much I would enjoy this and how well, I don't even know how to put it into words. It's just such a joy.
You just
I would not have done
heart.
Music.
Yeah.
I mean, and here
you
my dad.
done this all your life.
I would have done this my whole life. Was my dad a minister, you think I would have gotten it? I would have said, "This
you
is
got
so
it
cool."
later.
And my dad was like that minister. He was that cool, young, hip youth leader.
Yeah.
That the kids all just gravitated towards. I mean, if he found a kid that was in trouble, he took him to the boxing gym and taught him how to box.
Yeah.
Taught him how to fight and do it in the ring, not on the street, And then he also left the ministry for a few years and founded a runaway shelter for teenagers. So he was that guy, and I sat there and watched him my whole life and never thought, I should do this.
Cindy Bias, stretch run right after this.
Thank you. It's the great savings event at Matthews Nissan in Clarksville or MatthewsNissan.com. $7,500 off a new Altima. $7,500 unbelievable. $6,500 off a new Rogue. $5,200 off a new Maxima. New Versa $9,999. Save big on $400 new. You're gonna love our prices.
I'm Gary Matthews, and that's my guarantee.
You're gonna love our prices. Matthews Nissan.
For 100 years, Neil Tarpley Parchment Funeral Home has celebrated legacies with services as unique as each life.
Neil Tarpley Parchment, people who care, a name you can trust.
Stretch Run, Cindy Bell Buis joins us today. We've had a good time, Cindy.
I have had a great time. Thank you.
The Director of Christian Education and Youth out at Sango United Methodist Church. Y'all got a big vacation Bible school event coming up this summer.
We do. July 11th through the 14th, Monday through Thursday, 5:30 to 8 p.m. We want every kid to come. I mean, we want everybody. If you have another Bible school that you're going to that summer, that's fine. Come on and join us for ours. Our theme this year is Surf Shack. It's going to be a beach party, and we're going to try to do it like it's never been done before.
Y'all have fun out there, don't you?
We have a lot of fun.
I mean, really, everybody says it. Oh, we have fun. But y'all really
we do.
try.
We have a great time. I mean, we really believe God has a sense of humor, and He uses it through all of us. And we laugh a lot.
Let me tell you, life without laughter would be pure hell in my mind.
It really would.
I mean, really and truly, I have to laugh. I love people that make me laugh. What's the best advice Cindy Buis has ever received?
That would be from my father when he told me at a very early age, Matthew 6:33, always put God first. For seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all things will be added unto you. And of course, Daddy was right.
He was right, wasn't he? I know. We're going to talk about animals one of these days.
Yes, we will.
Because we both love them.
We sure will.
We love animals. And I know you think the animal control doing a great job.
They are. They are. Everybody go down there and pitch in and help and give those animals some love and hug and feed them, donate. Whatever you can for animal control would be appreciated.
Go see Minister Willie Lyle. Go see Cindy Buis, the whole team at Sango United Methodist Church. I want to thank Cindy. I want to thank Steve Sawyer behind the scenes. For yours truly, Greg Walker. Until next time, have a very nice rest of the day, folks. Great job.
Thank you. That was fun.